Yo, what's up, guys? Just hitting the gym hard. Trying to start my morning off. Break the silence with the word. I feel like if I just get too into this idea that streaming is more of an observational thing than something that I'm supposed to interact with, that it just becomes some sort of, experience that is silent on both sides. So I try to come at the experience with the idea that speaking into this microphone somehow makes the experience better for myself and sort of allows me to speak in a manner which makes sense, and hopefully it makes sense to the audience as well. But this is my second day starting this sort of routine where I've been waking up and gaming, playing Diablo. Try to get on hard with the new season. Yesterday played a little bit. My character's like almost 30 or something, but we're trying to hit that new season hard. Yo, what's up, Presley? I remember you from the other day, my friend. Just doing some live stream where I kind of vlog at the gym every day. Sometimes I do heavy weights, sometimes I do just cardio, but this seems to be a pretty popular stream. In the past, I've done it where I just walked on the treadmill and talked with people. I used to call it my morning walk and talk. A lot of people used to join that. So I've kind of migrated over to the ellipticals in the gym, just because with all this extra weight. Oh, you've seen it before? Nice. Yeah, I kind of migrated from the treadmill to the ellipticals because the treadmill was starting to hurt my back with this extra weight that I have. So I was like, oh, I need to go and do something that is a lot easier on my joints. So I came over. Right now I'm on the elliptical. I'll show you just this machine. And it makes the whole motion, thanks for the makes the whole motion fluid. So you're not impacting the ground, but it obviously gets the sweat going. Your whole body's in motion. Kind of like swimming a little bit. When you swim, you get that resistance all over and you don't have an impact, which allows you to exercise without hitting your joints. Yeah, I had a beard. I used to have hair down to like my chest and a beard down to my chest. I did this thing where at 100,000 subscribers, I was gonna cut my beard. So at 100,000 subs, if you look back at my live streams, there'll be one where it has me cutting off my beard live. Yeah, so everyone said I wasn't gonna reach it. Like everybody that used to join my older streams where I said I was gonna cut my beard, they all said I was never gonna reach 100,000 subs. They were like, your beard's gonna grow forever. You're never gonna cut that off at this rate. And hey, all it took was a couple months of just me investing a lot of my time and energy into YouTube, and we got there. And now we're at 50,000, over 100,000. So it just takes a little bit of dedication, and obviously focusing your assets in the right place. For me, I did a lot of advertising. I just figured out how to use Google Ads, something that I've sort of done in the past, but I invested a lot of my money into it or whatever, because I know that I have an audience. It's just reaching it. It's like I know that there's a body of people out there with similar interests and similar goals, with mine, that we're trying to experience life in this manner that allows us to express ourselves and try to balance on what we have and what we want, and what we're given, which is humility. So I know there's a body of people out there that are like me. I'm just sort of searching for them, and it's been a journey for sure. I have a lot of stuff on my channel that a lot of people would probably be like, why don't you delete that? But for me, it's just a memory, and it was a time that I got through and went through, and I'm here now. But yeah, I did have a beard, and I had super long hair, and I just cut it off. It's kind of interesting. It's like I can do my hair now. Before with long hair, it was just like, oh yeah, what are you gonna do, like a ponytail? That was seriously all I ever did. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Morning chat and chill. Somehow move while we're still, but yeah, cut my long hair off, and because it was just like I just got sick of like looking like somebody. It was like all of a sudden, because I had long hair because not a lot of people had it. It was like there wasn't a lot of people that had long hair. Yeah, it was just a pain in the ass after a while, for sure. It was like, getting in my way when I was eating. I was like trying to turn my head to like in my vehicle, and it would just like get in my eyes, and I'm like, geez, girls have it rough. Like, no wonder they just wear a ponytail like every day. And I just got sick of like, all of a sudden I fit into this new stereotype. It was like the old guy that just doesn't take care of himself or something. And I thought it was the most like ugly thing. So I was like, I need to change, because I don't want to fall into that. Like, it was cool to have long hair for a while, but then it was just like, all of a sudden I started seeing like all these old guys. They just had like greasy long hair. And I was like, ew, I don't want to be like that. So I changed. I was just like, you know what? It was kind of cool. Like, I did grow up as a kind of like, punk a little bit with kids that skateboarded and snowboarded and did whatever else. So it was like, for a while it kind of fit that. But I was just like, oh, it's kind of being taken over by this other group over here that's like some sort of lost like pedophile type of individuals. And I was like, from like a previous generation, and I was like, yeah, you guys are gross. I don't want to be associated with you guys. So I can shave my hair off, and it was like I can do it in different ways now, and put it back, do a little wave, a swoop or whatever, or I can do spikes. Like, maybe I'll spike my hair, because that's something you almost can't do with that long of hair. And spikes kind of look cool. Like, I could do spikes one day or something. But I can actually do a bunch of different styles now. And it's kind of takes, you know what I mean? It takes like 15 minutes or whatever in the mirror just to try to like figure out what your hair is doing that day, and like what your imagination has in store for you. Today I kind of went with something just, let me look like it's just like swooped to the side or whatever. I've been like using this new product I found. It's like powder. So it's like dry gel. It's really interesting. I'd recommend it, actually. Maybe I'll post a link of it in like my description or something like that, or my community. But it's like this powdered gel, and it's super weird, but it works really good. You style your hair while it's dry. So I like styled this while my hair was dry, and then I wetted down the rest of it. And I got it in the position that I wanted to, and then I used hairspray. It just kind of harkens back to a different age, because I felt like I was working a lot. And when I was working a lot, I just wore hats all the time. So I didn't have to do my hair, and it was like sort of professional too. It was like you just wear, like everyone out in the professional field, it's like out in the field is like wearing hats that are like trademarked. And I was just wearing a hat all the time. I kind of forgot what it was like to be like a younger like guy who styles, what did I do for work? Dude, I've done so much stuff. Like the majority of my life, I've done construction. And that's what my family actually does. My dad, he just is so good at it. Like, you know what I mean? The type of guy that can just build a house and he has to memory everything of how to like follow a document. But the real hard part is like, there's an architect, right? Who like draws out plans of a home. But the hard part is being able to duplicate that exactly in the real world. So he's able to look at plans of like an architect and actually put in reality a home that follows those exact specifications. And so he's done well. He's like a millionaire or whatever. Just, he came from nothing, you know, a family that had like 12 kids and lived in nowhere land, and now he travels all over the place. But I mean, he just worked hard. And so I've done that. I've done a lot of construction with him my whole life. We've built like entire projects. I've like built roads and installed like sewer systems, water, you know, done like water systems, electrical, internet, cable, framing, finish work, which is like wallpaper and paint, or like drywall, then mirrors and lights and all this stuff. I've done all that like a ton. But I've also had a lot of jobs myself. I went to college, and one of the first kind of jobs I had was a research assistant. My teacher, his name was like, what was her name? Anyways, I was a research assistant for this professor.
Look good, bro.
And I was studying genetics of like Native Americans because I was like planning on being a doctor. So I was researching like this gene called dipolypeptidase 4. It's like DPP4, where people who are from the New World can't digest gluten because they haven't had gluten in their diet as long as like for like tens of thousands of years, because they migrated over here before people on ships. And so they couldn't produce this protein called dipolypeptidase 4, and it made them like gluten intolerant, which like led to diabetes and type 2 diabetes. But I was just in over my head. It got to this point where I was like having to like order chemicals that are like made up organic molecules to like produce these reactions that I had to like sequence people's genes to see if they had the ability to produce this gene or not. And I was just in over my head. And like my professor, I think it was in over her head too, because she was just like, I don't know. And I was like, thanks. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I had like a ID badge. Where did I go to school? It's called Southern Utah University. It's in Southern Utah. I had a full ride scholarship there because I did well in high school. I got a pretty decent score on the ACT, which is like the SAT, but for the West. Got a pretty decent score on that, and I had like a 4.0 from high school, so they gave me a full ride. It took me a long time to graduate though, because I kept switching my major. So I was like, first I went there, I was a business major, then I switched to engineering, then I switched to biology, then I went to a different school and switched to philosophy, then I switched to what was called interdisciplinary studies, which is what I have my degree in, which just means that it's like I have a varied background of studies, basically. It's like I'm a general in the army or something, you know, just like I have a general's degree, which is just like a general knowledge on all things or whatever. So they're just like, the guy doesn't like, he doesn't have any specific like field, but he's definitely like worked through the system a lot. So they gave me a degree. It took me like 10 years to get it because I have so many credits that don't add up to anything. It's like I had like a master's degree, and I probably still do more. I have like a master's degree worth of credits, but they're just like, oh, in this category over here, in this category over here. And in school, you're kind of building a pyramid. Everything's a foundation up to the top or whatever, you know? and mine was just all over the place. So they're just like, okay, give him a degree. So I finally got that, but it took a long time. So did that for work for a while. I studied in the genetics lab, but it was cool because I had like a badge, and I like got to go in. It was like me, and there was some other pre-med student who was like working in there, and there was a professor in there. I used to talk to him a lot, and he worked on what was called C. elegans, and it was like this little organism where they have like complete knowledge about. Yeah, I know I could have been a doctor by then, right? But yeah, I've been going to school for like 10 years, and I have credits. I have credits from like 5 or 6 different universities. I just kept switching my major. To be a doctor, I'll tell you what it takes to be a doctor. You genuinely have to want to do it like not for the money. Like if you're doing it for the money, you won't make it. It's like they have filters there where it's like basically you're not going to invest like enough time into your classes for you to actually pass them, because you're doing it for the money. Like if you're doing it for the money, you won't pass. You have to genuinely just like, because I've taken like organic chemistry. I passed it in the part that I thought was important, the lab. I passed the organic chemistry lab because they were just like, oh, the kid, like, they said that my products were like, I got a note back one time from some professor, and he's like, your products are always so pure, because the class after ours in organic chemistry, they would like work with what we'd made in our class, and some kids like noticed that my stuff that I made in the lab was like very pure and very high quality, and they're like, he's very good at doing this stuff like hands-on. Med school to be cardiologist. Yeah, for a while I wanted to be a plastic surgeon. I was just like, they make so much money. I was like, why not, you know? And they get used in a lot of things that people don't realize. A lot of people just associate plastic surgery with like boob jobs. But like if somebody's born with deformities and stuff like that, plastic surgeons do that too. And like people that get in accidents and things, plastic surgeons work on those individuals to make it so that they're not so like horrifically scarred, you know what I mean, compared to other people. So there's a lot of stuff that they do, but that's what I was going into, was plastic surgery. But I had to change because it was like, I realized that it was like, you know what, like to be a doctor, you genuinely just have to love like helping people. And I just don't have that drive. Like I want to help people, but I want to do it in my own way. It's like I'd rather be in charge. And I feel like a doctor, you're kind of like an employee. You're not necessarily like a business owner. And if you're going to be a plastic surgeon, you better actually be damn good at like art and other stuff. And you know what, like I can draw some stuff or whatever, but I'm not like the artist kind of guy. I have some friends that are, but you know, you definitely better be like a master at being able to draw things and stuff like that and memorize everything. But you really do have to be like an employee. And I just wanted to do something I found out where I could be my own boss. You know, so I've stumbled onto YouTube, and it's just been this journey of trying to create my internet persona, you know, and interact with people and whatever else. So I did that for work. I worked for Amazon for a while. I was like in their warehouse. I would drive down every morning at like 5 o'clock, get there at like 6. We would have, am I from Utah? Yeah. But I've traveled the world now. So I have kind of an interesting perspective. Did you know that only 3% of people ever make it outside the United States? It's a statistic that I came across like a few years ago. Just like, yeah, like only 3% of people ever make it out of the US, you know, traveling. So I was like, I kind of have an interesting perspective on things. But I was an Amazon employee for a while because I was just like, oh, you know, I can do the physical labor because I did construction. But they just work people to death there. They have like a turnover rate, and I lasted like 6 months, and it was like longer than anyone else like had lasted there, and they were like, oh, good job. And I was like, if people are only lasting 6 months at your job, there's something wrong. And so people were only lasting like a couple weeks, and I was there for like 6 months, breaking my back, moving boxes, stacking boxes in semis, like sorting things on an assembly line, pushing things, like throwing things. And it was just like, I need to like advance in the company or I'm quitting. And I like applied to be a truck driver, and they never gave me the job, so I just quit. I worked in a liquor store. Yeah, some people only work a couple of weeks. I was there for like 6 months though. But most people, they have like a very high turnover rate because it's so laborious. And you don't really make that much money. It was like, you know what I mean? Like minimum wage, basically. They actually sent me an offer in my email like a month ago. They said like, hey, if you come back, we'll give you $21 an hour. And I'm just like, yeah, you know what? Like, I'd rather pursue my dreams than do that. Because there's no way I could like extensively do YouTube as hard as I am now while doing that. But I was also a liquor store employee. So I worked for the state liquor department, and I had to get like certified for food handling by the FDA, and I had to get certified by the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, to handle liquor. But my boss was just like terrible. One day I was like reading a book. There was nobody in there. And like people said I was like the best employee. They're like, oh yeah, the guy knows how to work the register. Like I was very good at math growing up. So I was able to just do these numbers really quick on the register. And they always put me in the morning shift where all the alcoholics come and they get their alcohol first thing in the morning. And so I was there just like doing all this. But one day I was like in a later shift, like in the afternoon, and they were just like, oh, you have to be working. And I was like reading a book. There was no one in the store. And I was like, I asked your boss, because I went down to Salt Lake City, the capital, and took like training. And I was like, is it okay if I read in the downtime? And they're like, yeah, sure. And like my boss, she was taking smoke breaks like every hour. She would just go sit outside and smoke like 3 or 4 cigarettes. Yeah, they call them early birds. Yeah. But yeah, like they're like drunken birds. It's like seriously, if you work at the liquor store like at like 10 a.m. when it opens, it's just like all the bums in the whole city show up and buy like the cheapest liquor ever to get drunk for the day. So I worked there. But my boss was like taking smoke breaks like every hour. And I just was reading one time, like seriously, just like standing at the register, just reading. And she's like, you're fired. She's like, you're not doing what you're told. And I was just like, I asked if I could do this, your boss. And she's like, no, you have to be cleaning. I was like, the store's clean. There's not even anything on the ground. And she's like, you're fired. I was like, she's like, don't come back. I was like, okay, see ya. Like, I'm not gonna deal with you, lady. You know, just like straight up firing me for no reason. Other than maybe they had like too many employees or something, which makes sense. And she just had to like make up some excuse as to why I got fired. Yeah, she had a power trip or whatever. I was a pizza delivery guy for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. And I had long hair and a beard, and they're like, oh, it was perfect for the company. Because this pizza is kind of like hippie. It's like a hippie company. It's called Lucky Slice Pizza. And I like worked for them. But it was the job was like so strenuous because I was the delivery guy. I was the janitor. I was the like person who interacts on the phone with all the customers that call in. And I was also an accountant because I had to run everything myself from the department of the delivery department. So I had to like count all the money we got, exchange money, like count our profits versus our like initial bank that we had during that day, and like all this stuff, balance the checkbook every time. And one time she was like, Austin, you're not cleaning good enough. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, this place is clean. And I was like, the only way I can clean more is if I move this big mixer And she's like, don't move that. And I was like, I can move it. I was like, you just said I had to clean more. And so I was like, I can move this. I can move this big mixer. She's like, you're gonna hurt your back and have to get on workers' comp. And I was like, no, I can move. I was like, I'm strong. And I like went to go and move it. And she's like, you're fired. Don't come back tomorrow. And I was like, okay. And then that's what I learned, that like most of these jobs, the only real job is to be your own person. Because all these people are just cycling and using people. They're just using people until they can't work anymore. And I was like, this world is crazy. Like, this world is straight up crazy. And that's when I started formulating, that's when I started like formulating my own beliefs. And I was like, okay, I have to like come up with my own belief system here. By the way, some lady's on like a broken machine and she doesn't realize it. So it's making a lot of noise. I'll move, I'll get off of here and go somewhere else because it's annoying. But yeah, like I was like, these people are just like using people and throwing them away. So I had to formulate my own belief system of where like I fit in. And it got me in trouble because after that, I wouldn't work for anybody. I was like, this is a joke. Like, I'm not gonna work and be somebody's slave. I'm gonna like fight for my right to actually get what I want in this world. And so I did. I protested against the system, and it got me in trouble. I basically was like protesting, and I was like the only protester, and so I just got like arrested a bunch because I wouldn't work, I wouldn't pay for anything, because I was like, this is a joke. Like, this system is all meant to just like wear you down and like kill you. And it's like some people get lucky, and they're the only ones you hear about. And it's like they're the only ones that are like proliferating this message. So it's just like this, you get lucky and then that's it. And I was sick of it. So I was like protesting and, you know, doing my own thing. I'm gonna move because that's so annoying. There's a few people here that like get on machines and I'm like, you guys don't realize they're like broken, right? And it's just like super annoying to listen to. I'll go over here. But yeah, so I've worked at a lot of jobs. Had a lot of different ones. Something else I've done. I worked for another assembly line factory, and I was like just another assembly line guy, but it was so brain like numbing that it was just like sitting there and like screwing screws basically like onto this thing, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, this is what drives people insane, is like sitting down and like screwing screws. There's like movies about this where people literally just go insane from like sitting in one place and like screwing a bolt in for like 8 hours a day. I was like, I'm not doing this. So I quit that as well. I had another job that I worked for DoorDash, and DoorDash was like kind of okay because I was able to like sort of work my own hours and like only work what I wanted to. But guess what? You don't make enough money doing DoorDash to like pay for your gas. And I was like, nobody's making money doing this. Maybe in like one city in the world. But I just had like this whole, and all I did is I would like listen to audiobooks and drive around and deliver food to people. But it just kind of came to its end because it was like not self-sufficient. I was like, nobody's making money off this. And then you actually learn, you actually learn that it's like in DoorDash and Uber, the companies, they've never made a profit, and like the companies themselves have never actually made a profit. But people invest in them because they're waiting for self-driving cars to come out. And as soon as like self-driving cars come out, then they should like make money. So people still invest in it. But for like the average person, you're not gonna make money doing it. It just costs it costs more gas than you actually make delivery. It's stupid. So I did that. I did DoorDash for a long time. And then I did like, I was a salesperson, like a door-to-door salesperson. And did like, sold insulation. I've done like sod work where I used to like do sod and stuff like that. But that was like very like, oh, I'm not, this is gonna work me to death too. So I've literally had tons of jobs, you know, and it's just like none of them have worked out. That's why I'm trying YouTube so hard. It's just like, hey, if I can become like a YouTuber, then a lot of this would work itself out. So I'm like throwing all my chips into that, you know, seeing what happens. And I've probably done like a few other things as well. Like, there's just like some things that I'm probably missing, you know, that I've done. Yeah, like this whole world is like built off of chance and like popularity and personality, and it's like, oh, you're saying that like I was just born unlucky? Like, I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to accept that I was just born unlucky and like I'm just gonna be a slave for the rest of my life, you know? Like, so I rebel hard. Like, if you watch some of my videos, like I get arrested. I got arrested on stream like 6 or 7 months ago because I wasn't like participating in this world. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be a slave. I'm just not going to. So I got arrested and had to go to like a corrections facility. Yeah. Kind of interesting, huh? It's like around the time where I was like streaming Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I was like on stream and the cops came and took me away. So yeah, I'm a little bit of a rebel, I guess. I guess I've had my rebellious streak and now I'm just like, you know what? Like, yeah, I could link it to you. I'll post it. If you, I'll post it after this stream in my community tab. I'll post the video, but you should just scroll to like the 28-minute mark or something, you know, like where it like hits 28 minutes, because like a lot of people, I realize, it's like they just want to get the story and that's it. It's fine, but I'll post it in my community tab. But like scroll to like 28 minutes of it, and it has the cops coming like while I'm on stream. And I just got freaked out. I like texted the UN because I was like, what are my rights? And they just took away all my rights and like went and sedated me like in a hospital. And I was like, this is a joke. And you can hear like, I'm pretty like well like worded. Like, I'm not somebody who's like an idiot, you know, but I'm not gonna like accept the situation where I have to like be a slave in this world, which is what I was doing basically, you know, not working for anybody and not working for the system. And they don't, trust me, you can get in trouble for it, because I did. I got in like very big trouble. And what they did is they took me and pumped me full of a bunch of medications that make me listen to like people who are just like, you have to do this. It's like, you can't. And it's a very fine line, Because if you go violent at all, like I never went violent, so I got out. But if you go violent, like at any point in time in that exchange right there, you'll be stuck in like a hospital for the rest of your life, or jail. Hospital's worse than jail because they just pump you full of drugs. They make you like aware, but you can't do anything. So you're sitting there just like suffering awake, but it's like you're dreaming because you can't walk or do anything like that. It's terrible. And it's just like, you can understand that I'm like a very well-versed person, you know, just talking to me. And it's like, is it really that crazy that I just didn't want to be like somebody's lackey in this world? You know? And it's like, I was like rebelling just like you see on the news on TV, but I was doing it personally, just myself, you know? And it got me in a lot of trouble, but I'll link that video. This is like my warm-up for the day. If you want to follow along, this is just how I kind of like wake up every morning. As I do this, just work on these bands. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I've never seen it, but I've heard people like say it to me. I'll have to watch it. But the mental hospital is like it's a scary place. It's like a place you can never escape from. It's like hell. Like if I had to say hell exists, yeah, it does. And it's like right here on this earth, you can be stuck in hell. It's a very scary place. I'm very lucky I got out. So that's basically, yeah, like, you know what, like at the end of the day, I'm just like, hey, at least I got my message out, like on this YouTube channel. It's sort of like what saves me a little bit. I'm like, yeah, like I was able to at least say what I believe, and like whoever comes across it, like good for you. Just be careful. Like if you try to live your life like I did, then it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very challenging, and you'll probably get in trouble a lot. You know, and I was sort of a troublemaker from the beginning. Yo, what's up, Dark Phillip? So yeah, like if you know what I mean, my message is out there or whatever. So, you know, just struggling for freedom, but just kind of in my own war zone, you know, just kind of thing. But I was lucky. I was lucky to get out. Like I said, if you go violent, like you just have to make sure you don't have a history of violence. Like if you do, you're screwed. You'll like never get out of any of those places. They'll just like stick you there and like keep you alive, but you'll barely be living. You'll be like conscious, but you can't like speak or do anything. It's like terrible. Yeah, they'll just keep you medicated, which is, like I said, it's just like the best way I can describe it is like, you ever heard about those people that wake up in surgery and they wake up but they can't move? It's like that. And so you're just aware of all the pain. It puts you in pain because your mind has a disconnect with the rest of your body. Don't give up. Thanks, I won't, man. Yeah, like I just, you know what I mean? I never went violent, but it's like, it's pretty difficult to do that because you have people that are just like, you know, taking your rights away and all this stuff. And it's hard not to, but I never did. And I advise anyone out there, if you can keep from being violent, just never cross that line, you know, and just maintain hope. And you can probably get out of there too if you ever end up in a situation like that. Hopefully my channel serves as some kind of guide or something. "202." Well, that's the morning, you guys. That's my morning exercise, and I'm gonna go and eat and then get back on and stream. So anyways, thanks for joining. How long was I in there? Like 6 months total. Like all these facilities. Half a year. But I'm gonna end the stream because I just got to keep moving, you know, like that's how you stay out of trouble. A lot of it, at least, is you just always try to keep busy, you know, as well. It's like I get here, I stream, go home, I stream, make sure that I'm eating, make sure that I'm active, you know. But I appreciate, yeah, so I'll see you guys later. And I'll post that in the community tab. Like seriously, just go there and like keep refreshing it. I'll post it right now when I end this stream. But thanks guys. See you Dark Phillip and see you Presley 007. I appreciate it. Much love and stay strong.